What is up, RetroManiacs? Welcome to the Retro Card Chat Podcast. My name is Mike, and I am from Mike's Retro Trading Cards. You know, Warner Brothers announced this week that they're going to be selling off 10 Batmobiles from the Dark Knight series, only $3 million a piece. Little known fact, these two guys were talking with me before the podcast, and they said if we get 100 likes on this video, they will pick a random subscriber and they will buy one of these Batmobiles for them. They are Joe Day and EP Eric Bahalik. How generous of you guys.
That is not factually accurate.
Although if we could financially, we would definitely do it.
We would 100%. Definitely, yes, if we could.
So you're saying that this is not a real offer?
Correct.
Oh, okay. But hey, you never know. So hit that like button anyway, just in case they change their mind. I'm just saying. I don't know.
Retweet. Random subscriber gets $1 million. Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. That being said, looks a lot cooler going down the street than one of those ugly cyber trucks, huh? Jesus. Yeah, have you seen one of those on the road yet?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's distracting how ugly they are.
I had one parked right next to me at the Tesla charger the other day.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And there was somebody in a Dodge Challenger who came over, backed into the Tesla charging spot, and they kind of walked up, and it was a father and son, and they were kind of like gawking at the Cybertruck. I'm like, did you guys really just pull in here to get out to look at this ugly thing? My God, they're hideous.
Gawking in a good way or a bad way? Like a, ooh, or a, oh.
I think they were interested in it. I don't know. It could have just been curiosity. I don't know if they liked it or not, but it was getting a lot of eyeballs, which is really, I mean, it's really the new version of a Hummer, right? Like people that are like, hey, look at me, I have this car.
No, if I get in an accident with a Hummer, I feel okay. I feel okay if I'm getting in an accident with a Hummer.
If that's what the future looks like, I don't want to make it. I just don't. I'm okay if I don't make it. It's fine. You know, if that course looks like that in the future, I'm okay.
And full disclosure, I own a Tesla and I love my Tesla. I just think awesome. That is hideous. I don't like that. Although I'm not probably the target market for that vehicle.
No, probably not.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah. How's it going, boys?
Good. We
want to know how Joe's doing. That's
I don't want to get sued by Elon Musk.
Yeah,
our link to this video is going to mysteriously disappear from X on Monday morning. So.
I'm doing better than
expected. You're here. You're alive and you're here. So that's good. Yeah.
But yeah, I went to the pick game, picked Clemson. It was a great. I'll tell you what, we lost by 4 points, I believe. But it was a really, really good game. We had the lead with like a minute and a half left, I believe, and they just made 2 or 3 really great plays, scored a touchdown. We couldn't match it. So, but we had a lot of fun from what I remember. And I think that's a big takeaway, folks. If you drink so much you can't remember, maybe you'll forget the sad loss. I think that's
good
rule
advice.
Number one. Yeah. Investment advice, if you will.
I was wondering if you had to like recheck the score this morning and recheck what happened in the game, or did you actually remember what happened at the end of the game? Was that something you had to refresh your mind this morning, or were you
I will tell you this. I don't know why I had been drinking. I mean, I know why, but I went out. It was a work happy hour. I went out and had a few cocktails, and I got home before Monday Night Football. So it was like 8:30ish, and I just passed out. I'm like, I'm too old. I'm tired, and I just passed out. I woke up in the middle of the night to pee, and the first thing I did was look for fantasy football scores. And then the next morning, I'm like, oh my God, I did lose that game by 3 points. What the hell? This is the worst. So yeah, I didn't do it for the pick game, but I've done that in the past.
EP, what's new and exciting with you?
Well, I had a card show yesterday.
Really?
You were there. You bought some stuff. I had a card show.
Oh, I forgot that.
Yeah. It was a card show, and I remember I took a whole week off. Vacation. I had some stuff I had to do, obviously, but a big part of it was I hadn't done any work on this card show, so I did quite a bit of work. Like Friday was like literally all day just working on cards, nothing but pricing cards, sorting cards, all that sort of stuff, just card work all day long. And
That's a
then
good
I went
day.
to the card show, and I barely made my table fees back. It was by far the worst card show I've ever set up at. As far as financially concerned, I met a lot of cool people. I actually gave away a handful of cards. Like there was a family member I gave a card
There's
to.
your problem.
There was I wasn't giving away like hundreds of dollars worth of cards. So, but I mean, like I sold a PSA 9 Wolverine card for $30. I had marked that at 35. They offered 30. I sold them for 30. That kind of put me over the top finally. But I put a lot of work into it for it not to really work out. You know, life ebbs and flows, and you know everything's fine. Just
Oh God, that's making me physically ill.
it's fine though. Everything's fine. I wouldn't worry. The next show will be better.
Oh my God.
Maybe. I mean, I had a great show. I made a lot of money there at your table. So.
You did. It's YouTube. It's water. It's water. YouTube. It's a joke.
It is water. Yes, just a prop. It's not actually alcohol.
It still made me sick.
Oh,
some memories being brought back there, Joe.
yeah. I'm having a real beverage though too. But hey, anyhow.
Yeah, I had a great show. I started off. I got there and EP just started handing me money, and then I walked away and I came back and he handed me more money. This was so cool. I got hundreds and hundreds of dollars from EP.
Mm-hmm.
It was so great. Made me feel so good.
It was a fun day though. I mean, for as much as it was bad for me, it was a fun day for both of us. I think good show.
In full disclosure, he owed me the rest of his grading fees because I submitted it, so it wasn't actually money that he was
I thought
giving
you
me.
gave him cards. I
Kindness
thought
of the
you
heart.
put cards in his case.
I actually bought cards from him as well. So it wasn't like I was just handing him money out of the kindness of my heart.
I had a question for you about, have you ever thought about like your 50-cent dollar cards, maybe breaking those up by player?
Somebody even asked me if I didn't have them by player because that would make them easier for them. The thing is, there are so many cards in my 50-cent box, like that would take a long time. I did this past week. I did add.
The office.
What's that?
Do it at the office.
I can't. I don't know. I
Drag them all to work.
Yeah,
barely make deadline as it is at the office.
You have an SUV. Think all the cards you can take with you.
Yeah,
I did actually add some dividers so that my dollar cards were separated by baseball, football, basketball, non-sports. That this time, which I hadn't been doing that before. Some people had talked about that before for me, and actually that led to I think a lot more basketball sales for my $1 cards. I actually sold a good number of $1 cards. I think because of that, people don't have to dig through to find what they were looking for because it was separated. So that's a thought to do that for my 50-cent cards. That actually would make sense. I do have it separated by sport. But it's a daunting task. People don't want to sort through that. There are some people who love to sort through those cards and find the hidden gems. But a lot of people they just care about finding their players. That is a good idea for my 50-cent cards.
Just break it up by player and make them dollar boxes, and then give them like multiple pricing, or give yourself some leeway if they go, "Would you take $2 for these three?" I feel like if you take the time to sort them, you could charge a little more for them, maybe.
And you have said before that you think my 50-cent cards are really good 50-cent cards too, right?
Yeah.
So,
EP. So what I'm hearing though from you is the card market is dead. That's
no, not at all. There were a lot of people there. There were a lot of people there, and the people that came up to my table, they all complimented a bunch of the stuff that I have in my case. Like my new Turtles cards, like everybody talked about those. They talked about the gold Jerry Rice, the solid gold, or the gold Jerry Rice card from back in the 90s. That was a really cool card. I got a lot of compliments from a lot of the cards. People were loving my Marvel cards and the slabs, especially like the PSA 10s, but nobody wanted to buy them. Like I have them marked down for my eBay prices. So I have a bunch of watchers on the eBay listings too. Just that nobody was like really buying right now, it seemed for my stuff. A lot of people did okay. Some people did really well. It was just a weird show for me anyway.
The people that I went to their tables did really well.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I spent every last penny of that money that EP gave me at the show. I did get Ricky Williams' autograph card.
Nice.
Numbered out 49 there. And
is that the cannabis refractor?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Like look at the background. That kind of looks.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
And our old buddy Troy, the Fish too.
The Fish.
Look at that. Look what I got from him. All of these wrestling rookie cards. Look at that. Seth Rollins. I got Dean Ambrose. I got Roman Reigns. That's the first Roman rookie I have. Like
very cool.
Bray Wyatt's fantastic stuff.
R.I.P.
And he always gives me good deals. I felt a little badly for Troy. He's like, he sold me that whole bunch for like $75. I think it's probably about $150 worth there. And he was like, he even said to me, he's like, kept saying to myself in my head, tell him 100, tell him 100, tell him 100. And then he said 75. I'm like, I was like, not to make you feel bad, Troy. I said, I would have given you 100. Unlike EP though, who would have just given him the 100. I'm
right.
I would have. Yeah,
You
right.
totally would, EP. You totally would.
Yeah. Oh.
By the way,
right,
I do want to mention before we start real quick, I noticed it in my haze. People might be noticing there is nothing behind me. The angle is a little bit weird. This is phase 1 of the remodel a little bit of the area behind me. It's going to be my Patrick Stewart autograph collection here eventually. I'm hoping by December-ish, mid-December. But yeah, phase 1 is done. Everything's been taken down. But yeah, that's why there's
Stewart?
he was in
Star Wars,
the original Dune movie.
Oh, he was actually,
yeah. That's what most people know him for. So
Never heard of him.
Yeah,
and
him and Bert Emanuel.
If you haven't checked out the channel this past weekend, we dropped a lot of videos. EP actually has a video. Watch him almost have a heart attack when he's doing a PSA reveal. He was a little nervous about his PSA reveal. I dropped another episode of Can You Make a Profit Ripping Retail? We know the answer. I know. I'm going to put that in subtitles. Yeah, we know the answer. But yeah, I ripped some Allen and Ginter, so that was a good time.
Yeah.
And Joe with another Star Trek video for the kind of people that like that kind of thing. That's the kind of thing those people like. So check that out if you haven't. Watch those. Hit the like. You never know when you might win a Batmobile. Yeah. So, all right, let's get into it because we have a lot to get into this week. Did you see the Pittsburgh Pirates have made an offer for the Paul Skenes MLB debut patch auto? Let me throw it up on the screen here so I don't get anything wrong. There we go. They are willing to give the person that pulls that 2 Pirate season tickets behind home plate for the next 30 years, a softball game for 30 at PNC Park with coaching from Pirates alumni, spring training experience like no other. And you're going to get a private tour of Pirate City and Lecom Park. What is that, Joe? I don't even know.
I have no idea. I live here. I have no idea what that is.
A meet and greet with Paul Skenes, a bunch of autographs from him. I mean, pretty cool offer. And Livy Dunn said you can sit in a suite with her at one of the games. Only one time, though. Like, if they did it for, well, maybe you won't want to do it for third. Anyway, a lot of stuff being thrown out by the Pirates there to try to get that card, to take it back, to keep it in the family. Now, of course, because the hobby is like it is, some people have a problem with this. I know one person called it a dog shit offer. Not going to give that person any notoriety on here. But what are your thoughts about this? I don't think it's a bad offer.
So the one concern I would have about the offer are those seats transferable? The reason I ask that is the one point that has been legitimately brought up is if I don't live in Pittsburgh, and no offense to the Pirates, it's a fun stadium to go to. It's a fun place to watch a ball game. But if you don't live in Pittsburgh, that could be a problem. You're not traveling to Pittsburgh. Yeah. So if they allow those seats to be sold like on StubHub or SeatGeek or whatever, that offer is actually pretty darn good because 2 seats behind home plate, we're talking at least $100 a seat. I don't care how bad the Pirates are. We paid $60 a seat and we were in the club level, which is a nice level, but it's not behind home plate, right? So we paid $60 for those. I suspect behind home plate are at least $100. Do the math over 30 years.
I think Darren
games.
Ravel said the value of the tickets would be over $2 million over 30 years. Yeah. So
right. So, and my math was lower than that. I think I was going just kind of a little bit more than what we paid. But again, those are way better seats. So I'm guessing they would go for more. And you never know over the course of that 30 years, the Pirates could have just a big season at one point. And those tickets go for double, triple, quadruple that value. So it's not a dog shit offer. And by the way, before the hobby became this, where shit like this is said, this would have been the coolest. Everyone would have been talking about how cool it is. Like, oh my God, the Pirates are trying to get this card of their best player, who probably will only be there for about another 2-3 years, to be honest. But they're getting his best card, his best rookie card. They want to get it back, and look at all they're offering. If that is not just a case of money nowadays, no one gives a shit. And that's what makes the hobby, right? That's where we're at right now.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if somebody's not a Pirates fan or a Skenes fan, they're probably just going to sell this on anyway. They're going to go to an auction site or eBay or whatever, and they're going to sell it. But like, this is amazing marketing, I think, for the Pirates, and it is far from a dog shit offer. This is a tremendous offer, in my opinion, for a Pirates fan or a Skenes fan, like, because you're probably going to be living in Pittsburgh or at least within a drivable distance to Pittsburgh, and getting these tickets, like 30 years worth of season tickets behind home plate, on top of all that other stuff. Like a Pirates fan or a Skenes fan, like, you're going to be, this is going to make it really difficult to think about whether you're going to sell it or not. Right. Like that. This is the kind of thing that you need. It's also like, you're also like saying, hey, Pirates fans, we're doing this for you. We want you. We want you. And I really think that as far as marketing is concerned, I love it, and I think it's a great offer. I think it's terrible that if you would consider it to be a terrible offer, you have to just not understand how fandom works and sports fandom works if you think that.
And let's be real. I'm sure the Pittsburgh Pirates really don't think that anybody will take them up on their offer because of like the stuff you said. Like, most people, the odds are it's going to be pulled by somebody that isn't able to go to the games. But the offer that was given.
Wait a minute.
Hold on. Breaking news.
Breaking conspiracy
hat
news
is on. Go ahead, Joe.
I'm starting to think, is Livy Dunn going to pull this card? I'm like, Paul Skenes' girlfriend, is she going to pull this card? Guys,
in a live break
on Fanatics Live, is Paul Skenes' girlfriend going to break the card? Or going to pull the card? What do we think, boys? What do we think?
No, they can't.
I think there is a non-zero probability of that happening.
I 100% agree at that non-zero probability. If I woke up tomorrow morning and saw that Paul Skenes' girlfriend pulled this card in a break, I'd be like, yep, that makes sense. I wouldn't have to double check that EP. I would know that that's probably what happened. So
how would she sit with herself though?
But that's
cut out.
That's the genius of it. You got to keep thinking. You got to keep the people guessing. But yeah, the hat's off now. Okay. That's my theory.
Okay, I'll go back to my point then. It is a good offer for somebody who would be able to take them up on it. And like I was saying, I'm sure that they think there's a very small probability that anybody would. But if perhaps somebody who's a Pirates fan and has access to going to the games, if you're that person, I would think about it. Yes, it's life-changing money if you pull that card and sell it. I totally understand that. And I totally understand that is most likely what will happen. But still, pretty cool offer. You get to meet him. You get to get stuff autographed by him. The season tickets, it would be an experience like none other. Probably won't be taken up, but bravo to them for throwing this out there. Like you said, EP, fantastic marketing, like just top notch. Why not do it? I'm going to start throwing out offers like this too. I will let people come on and be on the podcast.
Yeah.
Actually, right now, I am going to put this out in the world. If you pull the Paul Skenes auto debut patch, if you want to give it to us, I will not only let you have the bottom right corner on the podcast for a whole month, I will also sign the elusive Mike's Retro Trading Cards triple autograph with these two. I refuse to sign anything with these two on it, but I would for that. So there's my offer. I know I'm taking away the thunder from the Pirates here, but there you go.
So I didn't have that on my bingo card today, but that was not on my bingo card.
I didn't either. It just came to me.
Here we are
on the spot.
And I'll tell you what, we'll add something to that. We'll let them sit in on 3 cards for EP if they pick Ken Griffey Jr. cards. That's it. That's the only thing they can do. But yeah, that's a huge offer, Mike.
Would you not crack up if somebody watching the channel actually pulled it and decided, yeah, I'll do that?
Yeah, I would crack up, Mike. There is a zero chance of that.
Then we could sell it and give somebody a Batmobile.
Yes. How much do you think this card is legitimately worth?
$500,000. That's
half a million?
That's what I've seen thrown out, but I would guess it is at least a $500,000 card. Shouldn't be, but I'm sure probably is. The chase, like, I mean, we've talked about the rookie debut patches. We love them. These are really cool, even though there's something that people watching this channel and the three of us will never, ever have an opportunity to have. But still, I like the premise of them. I like that they've kind of grabbed hold of that, like, ultimate card in baseball for the hobby. So, but yeah, I say $500,000.
And they're going to do it for football too, right? They're going to do it for football and basketball.
Yeah.
Like I when you were talking about the offer, Mike, I was thinking to myself, like, if the Steelers drafted a quarterback in the next couple of years, first round, gets the premier patch, I would think a Steelers fan, the equivalent offer from the Steelers for this card, a Steelers fan would absolutely take it. Like, there's no question about that.
Yeah.
30 years season tickets for football is, especially Steelers, you're on wait list for decades. And if someone pulled that, I could see that being not considered a dog shit offer, because the Steelers are perennially, they do pretty well. So I could see that equivalent happening in football and not be kind of laughed at, which is what a lot of people are doing with this offer, which is silly.
And I think one of the things that we didn't quite hit on is that with the Skenes deal, with the deal that the Pirates offered, like they're giving like autographed jerseys and stuff too. Like, if you are really wanted to recoup some of that money, you could sell some of that stuff too, but still also have 30 years worth of season tickets, behind home plate. I mean, there's a lot there, a lot of meat on that bone that is, I think it makes it a great offer for a Pirates fan.
Well, you're going to have a little competition if you're trying to get this card, because subtweeting on the Pirates, one of the replies was from none other than Michael Rubin himself. And he said, and I quote, "Sorry, I may need to outbid you." So yes, I did a good job reading that because I couldn't read what I had written down. But Michael Rubin has entered the fray. Isn't he the guy that's like making this card? Why didn't you just keep it? Like, maybe he did keep it. What are you doing? What are you doing?
It's the silliest thing too, where he comes out, and I was talking to a buddy of mine who is not a card collector, by the way. I was talking to him yesterday morning as we were having our first drink, and he said, "What about this Paul Skenes card?" Like, he brought it up. He, again, doesn't collect cards. And I said to him, I've often wondered why, like, heads of companies don't just say, "Oh, I'm just going to keep this card. I'm just going to, like."
Maybe they do.
Maybe they do. Who knows? But they either keep them or send them off to backyard breaks. I'm not 100% sure.
I'm surprised that Joe didn't put the hat on for this one. Like, who's gonna pull this card? Who's gonna pull this card live in their break?
He already did. Let me done.
No, I mean, what if Rubin pulls it? Like, I was not going to be surprised now if he pulls it either, right? If he opens it, up.
I think that would look too obvious. I think that would look too obvious.
But, after Michael Rubin tweeted this, let's just say the hobby did not treat him all that nicely.
The hobby did not disappoint.
And
think of that
in the interest of informing our viewership, this guy over here is going to play the role of Michael Rubin, and he is going to read you some of the mean tweets that Michael Rubin got in response to him saying that he was going to buy the card. So, Joe, how about it?
All right, boys, before I talk amongst yourselves, I got to get ready for this. Okay. I got to get into a kind of a spiritual Zen type of thing. So, yes. So give me 1 minute, okay? Talk amongst yourselves.
Absolutely.
I also didn't have a dramatic reading on my bingo card either. Like, this day is just a crazy day, right? There's like lots.
We are here to spread the news of the hobby to our viewers. So, we can't just say that Michael. I don't want to know what's going on up there. We don't. Trust me, this will be worth it. Yeah, we just don't want to say that Michael Rubin made the offer and then not give the other side of the story here. So
Right.
there is another side. Michael Rubin, kind of a polarizing figure in our hobby.
Definitely.
Maybe more polarizing toward people not really caring a whole lot for him right now because he might be trying to, rape the hobby of all this money and just try to profit from it. But there are still some people out there that get paid very well by Fanatics. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Joe. Are you back?
All right. Yes.
Okay.
All right. Here we go.
Okay.
All right.
In his full white party attire here.
Got my tie, got my white shirt on. Appropriate hat. This feels like a white party hat. Right.
Wow. I love it. I love it.
All right. So I shall be reading.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Rubin.
All right, let's get right to it. Oh, if there are kids in the room, you might want to send them away. All right. So as Michael myself said, sorry, I may need to outbid you on this one. 3 exclamation points. In response, I'm not going to give names.
Yeah,
Response.
Good call.
I will hunt you down like an animal. You are prey to me. Shut the fuck up. No one likes you. Nobody likes you, dork. Diddy 2.0. A lot of Diddy stuff in here. Thank you for listening to my music. I love you all. I don't think that's related to. I think that might be a bot. I want 15 million, Michael, after taxes. You ruin pro sports. You're a loser. I would give this card away before selling it to you. Oh, shut up. Oh, shut up, Diddy. Again, not 100% sure what that is. Fix the Fanatics products first, Mike. Shit has been so disappointing. Imagine I eat your butt. Go ruin another sports league. Jerseys. I'm not even going to say that word. You suck. Got to be crazy being as hated as you are, but it's all deserved. And of course, my favorite one.
What did you not read?
All right. I am done. And the scene.
So I was going to ask when we were talking. Well, Joe
How
was
about I eat your butt?
No context.
Oh my goodness.
So he is the most polarizing figure in all of sports right now. Sports cards, right? Like he's got to be the most polarizing figure. There's no question about it.
I don't even know if he's as much polarizing as hated at this point.
Yeah,
I think it's very lopsided in people not liking him.
Yeah,
because
him and Diddy.
I'm not touching that. But like, this is the same kind of stuff people have said about what Fanatics has done to apparel ever since they took over that and monopolized that, and coming in here like clear, like I've been seeing a lot of videos. Sports Card Madness has videos out about Fanatics' financial situation and their debt rating and all this financial stuff. The stories of Michael Rubin maybe selling off $1 billion in stock and all that stuff. And, seeing all these things, and I read some of those financial reports and, saying they have, hope for the future because they're going to be adding new licenses and stuff, but they're going to be making as much money as possible off of us. They don't give a damn about the collectability of cards. They don't give a damn about how much they produce or don't produce. They don't give a damn about what they're going to charge, what they're not going to charge. They're just going to milk this for as much as they can. And, it's pretty clear now that he's not coming into this hobby to try to make it better. He's coming in to make it his vision of it and turn it into something that he can just go out and milk every month. And, the dollar signs go up and the company makes more money.
Yeah. So before I respond to that, I do want
to
say.
And there goes our Fanatics sponsorship.
Right there. I do want to say, I just gave you a taste of some of the responses. There's like almost 100 at this point of very similar responses. Like there was no, oh, that's awesome. There's nothing like that. It was all hatred and vitriol. And
let me say, the
I
grand finale feat will probably be all bleeped out, but go read the comments and figure out which one it was.
Right. But to your point, Mike, I completely agree. And honestly, it sucks. Like we talk about like PSA and we talk about SGC all the time, and we're happy that they're led by people who actually enjoy the hobby. They're collectors. The card manufacturers are not. Like we had this great interview. Go check it out with Steve Charendoff from Rittenhouse. He's a card guy. You know, like Michael Rubin is not a card guy. The folks at Panini are not card people, and they're just in it for the money. That's all they care about. And I get it. They're a business. They should care about the money, but also maybe the whole leave something better than what you started with. It should kind of be in their brain a little bit, but it's not. It's money, and that's it.
I think one of the things that one of the issues with the hobby right now, and I'm gonna, you know, I don't want to yuck any yums, but for the problems for me in the hobby right now, you look at like the insert cards for Prism and the insert cards for like Optic and that sort of stuff, and they are very, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not. They don't stink, but they all look very, very samey. They're not very.
It's unique. The same card.
It's just the same card,
a different background, and now the backgrounds aren't even that different anymore. Yeah. They have like 8 different blue versions or 10 different yellow versions.
Right. And it wasn't like card companies back when we collected, during what we consider the heyday in the 90s to 2000. Like it wasn't like the companies weren't trying to make money then, but they actually had people that were card people that were in charge of the design, and they were in charge of making things interesting. And they had the competition everybody's trying to make everything interesting. And that is why we love that. And that's why they're so popular right now, because we had that. And that's an issue right now. And if there's only going to be the one person in charge of everything, and they don't care about that part. And maybe hopefully it gets to the point where they let somebody who cares about cards make some of these decisions. But if it doesn't make them make any extra money, I don't know if they will. Like that's the one that for me, that's one of the scariest parts of it, is that the potential for not seeing anything to make the hobby better.
Well, to put a bow on this before we move on, all I'm going to say, I see a lot of content on YouTube lately. I see a lot of stuff on social media about people talking about the bad things that are going on and how things are changing. As somebody who was part of this business when the huge boom in the early 90s started to drop off, all I'm going to say, because people won't give a damn what this old guy thinks on his little podcast on YouTube, but there are a lot of parallels between the stuff I'm seeing people say now and not being able to sell cards and things not going up in value to what I saw in the early 90s when things came down to. I'm not saying that we can't have fun in the hobby, that it's going to completely crash, but this is in a decline that it's probably going to be in for a while, and I don't think anything that Fanatics is doing is going to help that. So,
and there's a lot of parallels just in general. Like you could stop there. There are a lot of parallels and parallels.
Well, speaking of parallels, apparently Jackson Merrill, the rookie from the Padres, doesn't like to sign cards with his full signature unless they're a certain level of parallel. He's actually, I guess, has said that he only puts his full signature on cards that are worth it to do it. The better cards, the harder to get. The other cards, he kind of has like a fancy version of just a JM on it, but he doesn't write out his whole signature. And people have been noticing this. And, he's doing this because he wants those to be more special because the cards are more special. At the same time, we're paying for cards that are supposed to have a Jackson Merrill autograph in it, and some of them are actually his autograph, and some of them are pretty much a different thing altogether. He's being paid the same amount of money. This is like, I can understand that, and like, trust me, I was reading on social media, go figure, so many people defending this. Oh, one person literally said, as long as it's authentic, I don't give a damn what it is. It's like, really? Is that how you feel? This is why players can do stuff like this. Put an inscription on it to make it more special.
My point. Yep.
Like, you're disrespecting. I'm sorry, this is my opinion. I'm sure a lot of people agree with it because I read the comments on the person who dared complain about this on Twitter. But you're being paid to provide an autograph to be put on cards. I don't think it's your right to decide which cards get the better autograph and which one you half-ass it. And that's my opinion. You are being paid. You're making money to sign all these. I don't care how many you have to sign. You agreed to do it, and you get compensated for doing it. Like, cry me a river. Oh, this poor kid has to sign so many cards. Yeah, you agreed to do it. So don't whine and complain about it. Jesus H. So, this bothers me. And I know I'll probably have people in the comments here just tell me how stupid I am. It doesn't matter, but it does matter. People who really know, it matters. Like, you think that 20, 30 years from now, if he goes on to be a Hall of Fame player, that there aren't going to be people that want to get his autograph to go, well, why do you sign him like this when he signed other ones like this? Like, I don't want that. The stuff you're putting a lot of money into now is less likely to have value going forward because people are going to at some point go, I don't want that. Would you want Babe Ruth's autograph just a BR, or do you want the actual autograph?
I have
yes, some people signed for him, but yeah, go ahead, John.
I have a real legit example of that is I only collect Patrick Stewart cards that say Patrick Stewart. I don't collect P2. And at least his reason is he's 84 years old and has arthritis, right? Like, I'm going to give him a pass. I'm not going to give some 20-year-old, I sound like an old man. I'm not going to give some 20-some-year-old a pass, a 22-year-old a pass for having to sign more autographs. Like, my point was going to be, Mike, if you really care about the specialness of these and, oh, this is a more valuable card, I'll spend some time on it, then do the inscription. Be like, this card is worth more, or something, like even something silly like that,
or even your number, like,
or even your number, or Sean Alexander puts one psalm. I forget what psalm it is, but he puts that on like his nicer autographs. So do something like that. I will play a smidge devil's advocate and say at least he signed some of them nice, considering what we get from Anthony Richardson, what we get from George Pickens. Like, at least he does some of them nice, so I'll give him that. But if you're going to do it for one, you should do it for all. And you're right, 20 years down the road, the ones that just say his initials are not going to be worth anywhere near as much. And it's a shame for those people who, we always talk about that kid that saved up the money to open up some packs and they pull his auto, but it's not really his auto. And it's like, at least with George Pickens, to play devil's advocate, at least for George Pickens, he signs them all this way. Like,
or somebody does,
right? His cousin, his brother, whatever. So they're not going to be different values because of the signature. If he wanted to really care about the hobby, he would sign the lower ones nice and the high end ones shitty. I mean, and just to give the collectors like, oh, I'm going to chase this variant, this Topps flagship variant autograph where he actually signs it nice. But yeah, this is the height of laziness and the height of privilege. It just really is. I'm so rich and I'm making so much money that I don't have to care, and that's what's going on.
I'm obviously going to take a little bit of a different turn, as you guys probably kind of expect. I like several things about this. I like the fact that he understands the value of these cards. We've talked about this before. It's cool that there are a lot of athletes now that understand that we are interested in getting these autographs, or interested in these cards, and that these cards have value and stuff like that. That's one of the big things. I like the thought of having something different, but I agree with you guys 100%. That doing it the way he's doing it is crappy. Like there's no getting around that whatsoever. Add an inscription instead of it, or like Joe said, that's a really cool idea. Like maybe only 5 or 10 of them are JMs with a fancy like JM or whatever. Then that becomes cool, as opposed to the opposite, which it seems like he's being lazy. He just doesn't want to write his full name out for all of these. To go back on a couple things, like he's contractually obligated to autograph these cards, but I wonder if this is, did he get a Topps okay to do this first off? And if not, then what happens to the contract?
They
And
don't
also,
care. Honestly,
Yeah,
they
they
don't
don't
care
care.
though. I don't think. As long as they have something to put in the packs, they don't really give a shit.
does this change do they change their language on the cards now? Because like this, I mean, it's these aren't autographs, right? These are initials.
Or
So
all the initials from all the other autographs. So yeah, that
Right,
toothpaste
but-
has been out of the tube for quite some time, as they like to say. I think my biggest problem with it is like I don't feel like he's adding anything to the special autograph. He's just putting his full name. I think he's devaluing the other autographs. Like that's why it bothers me so much. If like there are many ways to make those special cards, the autograph on it, a little more special. Just writing your actual autograph shouldn't be the bar that's set for being special now.
Right.
So I feel like you decided, okay, my normal autograph is now the high end of this, and I'll just, devalue it and deface it for all the normal people that are pulling lesser cards. So,
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about PSA. There was some big PSA news running around this week that Nat Turner, he actually tweeted this out. Did you guys get the email from them about it too a couple days beforehand?
I think I just delete them. I see something from
Fair
PSA.
enough,
I really just delete it.
But they are now doing away with the declared value from the submission form. If you're at like the $500 value level, you just put your cards in. You don't have to anymore, which is a great thing. Everybody hates trying to determine, well, this card, if I think it's going to be this, will be worth this. Like, come on, that's just inexact thing to begin with. But yeah, it'll automatically, the declared value be for that. The question everybody has, and it is the question I'm sure they're trying to work on, is what happens to the price on the return shipping with the insurance? Because not all those cards, you send in 20 cards with $500 automatic declared value. They have to have some kind of system in place where they can determine an accurate value for the card after it's graded and they charge the right insurance amount. I'm sure this is something I hate to put trust in any big company, but PSA has to know that this is the question, and I'm sure they're working on something, but we don't have that answer. But it's a legitimate question. Like, what happens with that? I'm not paying $500 insurance on a card that's worth $100.
I'm sure someone at PSA has a concept of a plan that they'll do, and it'll come out. But I'm really, to me anyway, they should probably have had that plan before they released this information. Like no one thought to say, well, wait a minute, what are we doing about the return shipping cost in a meeting? Like that was not brought up. Like that's my issue. Like don't send out this email or don't tweet about it until it's done. Like you're only giving us half the thing. We need the full thing before you start tweeting about it and talking about it. So yeah, this was going to be the biggest question. This was the question I had when you sent this to us, Mike. And honestly, I mean, I don't really, I like them better than Michael Rubin, for example, but I don't put a ton of trust in a big corporation doing it right. I just don't. So maybe that's just on me, but yeah, we have a lot of empirical evidence of corporations not doing the right thing. So, I'm just going to assume until otherwise happens, I'm going to assume that they're going to screw this up somehow.
Yeah, I didn't know what Joe's thought was going to be. I didn't think about the return shipping part of it, even though I've used both you guys as accounts to send my stuff in, but that thought never crossed my mind. But that does raise a question, because like they're not going to have their employees figure out the values, right? Are they going to make their employees, the shipping department employees or whatever, figure out the values so that they can send in? They're not going to pay people to do that, right? So they're just going to probably blanket have it be $500, and that's going to be that's bad news for those of us who send in cards that are going to be like $40 or $50 when they come back. Like there's
no way they can do that. Like no way they can do that. I think they're probably opening themselves up to some kind of class action on lawsuit. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know, but it seems like if you're knowingly overcharging people for insurance, although probably have a terms of service that you're agreeing to that like will just wipe all that away. But
then FedEx is probably not a big fan of that if they get lost and they have to pay $500 for a card that's worth $100. So that's a whole other
true. Yeah, that's a great point.
Do we think this is maybe a step toward adding a tier or changing their tier system to like their upcharge system to a different levels. Like they're going to
not going to change the upcharge.
Well, no, they add like $100 level or something. Like I'm saying, like they add like $200 level.
That's a great point. That's what I was kind of thinking when I was reading this too. Are they going to have like a really low value level that they have for a little cheaper now? That they, maybe $16. They run a lot of stuff in that $15.99 on special. I'm wondering if they're gonna. Joe, I will give you credit. You said this a long time ago. Yeah, if it goes down, it's going to be because they're going to drop the declared value. So it could very possibly be that they're going to have that lower end and add that to it. I don't know, but that was one of the things popped up when I was hearing this news. So.
Well, here's, in my opinion, this could be a solution. I don't know how this would affect UEP. You do send in a lot of stuff that, you're hoping to turn a $5 card into a $40 card or something like that. Yep. Just add $1 to every card and give free shipping. You know what I mean? Like just make say the cost is $15, just make it $16 and tell people, but we'll pick up the cost of the shipping. I'm sure they have a deal with FedEx. I guarantee you they have a deal in place with FedEx where they get cheaper rates because they
have to, because why in the world would you use FedEx over
UPS? FedEx is terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible.
So just charge a little bit on the front end of it and then give free shipping. I don't understand why that's such an issue. And I'm sure they have people in the back room somewhere saying, we can't do that because we lose a lot more packages than you really want to know, and we have to pay out. FedEx has to pay out insurance on those, but I don't know. It just, to me, it seems like the smart thing to do. We sometimes do that on eBay. I see it on eBay. Like someone's charging a little bit more for the product, but they're giving free shipping versus someone who's charging a little bit less, but the shipping's like $50. It's like, so I don't know. There is a solution here. The fact that they haven't come out with that is a little disconcerting.
95% of eBay stores like that, right? Like that's all those cars I sell for $1.65 free shipping. The reason I sell them for $1.65 is free shipping. I think in a lot of cases, some people sell them for 99 cents, but then they're like you said, Joe, like the shipping is like $1.25 or more than that. You're paying way more than mine, and it's just I think that people see the free shipping and they like that. That's a really good idea. I like that.
Well, one card you should get free shipping on is the Paul Skenes, Allen and Ginter glossy 1 of 1. Somebody got this card and they sent it to PSA and they got it graded and they had PSA listed on eBay for them. Only one problem. They didn't list it as a 1 of 1, even though it is clearly the glossy 1 of 1.
Oh, no.
Now, I don't have a fancy hat to put on like Joe does, but I have a little bit of a conspiracy here for you. The card was also graded an 8. So the card was graded a PSA 8, and then it was listed on eBay without the 1 of 1 designation. So there's nothing, the picture, yes, there's a 1 of 1, but the 1 of 1's a little 1 of 1 on the back of the card, not on the front of the card either. So it doesn't look any different than the glossy regular rookie card. And it doesn't say 1 of 1. I'm not saying this happened, but I'm going to say there are people out there that are going to go, wait a minute, did they grade this a lower grade and then mislist it so somebody could get this card for cheaper than what it should actually sell for? I don't know. I haven't heard an update to this. Hopefully somebody in the comments has heard an update and heard that, PSA took it down and is rerunning it listed the right way. But as somebody who has thought about having PSA list my cards on eBay, if they can't even put 1 of 1 in the title for the card that is a 1 of 1, I'm not real confident in letting PSA sell my card for the biggest rookie of the year. It's just crazy.
First off, I want to know what the Pirates offered for this card. I think that's top priority.
True.
Number 2, Mike, I'm always here for a great conspiracy theory. So I'm here for it. That being said, I err on the side of incompetence on this one, versus conspiracy theory. That's probably the safer bet. And number 3, didn't we just talk about a listing like this, very similar, where the guy's hand was the picture of the card.
Yeah.
Was that PSA as well?
Yeah, it was.
Like,
I think it
who
was.
is list? Who do they hire? What minimum wage schlub are they hiring to do these
On
things?
the flow chart at PSA, the people listing on eBay are clearly at the bottom of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, like, Mike, I mean, if you want to list with PSA, do so at your own peril. I mean, that's what it really sounds like. If they don't make this right, and I really wish we had a follow up on that, the hand story. I forget what it was. I should have gone back on and watched. I should have gone back and rewatched it. But yeah, if they didn't make that right, I'm worried about them making this right. They should. They're a large enough company, and it's their screw up. We watch EP and I watch Little Victories quite a bit, and he does DC sports card, not reveals. He like we do with ComC orders, right? He'll go through his mail day. And EP, back me up on this. How many times does he say, "Oh, DC sports cards listed this wrong, so I got it way cheaper"?
Yep.
And I'm like, they're a huge consigner. And they didn't put refractor on the listing. Like, what? How is this possible? I would never feel safe. This is why I like to list my own stuff. EP, I know you're the same way. Mike, you thought about doing it through them, or I can't wrap my. If I'll own the screw up. If I screw up, I'll own it. I'm fine with that. If they do the screw up, they better own it and make it financially right for this person. But if not, I don't trust someone else doing that stuff.
Yeah, like I've admitted to my screw ups here on the podcast. Like the things I've listed as a gold medallion that wasn't a gold medallion. Just a couple weeks ago, I talked about that, and somebody called me out on it, and I took care of it, and all that sort of stuff. I joked about it because the person was livid in their responses to me about it. But the bottom line is, like, it's my mistake, and I own up to that. I have no problem with that. But these are people that are being paid like money as an employee to do this for a company that is at the very top of the collecting food chain, PSA, at the top of the food chain, and we're expected, like, I would expect them, like this is like completely egregious. Like, Joe used the word incompetence, and that is absolutely the word. And you can't have people you can't have people that are in charge of it, customers. Like this was a prized possession for this person. Paul Skenes 1/1 in his rookie year, like a rookie card 1/1.
Wow. I don't know if I'd call it a prized possession. I'd say it was like a cash in on.
Yeah. That's that. I mean, it's a treasure, like a treasure. Treasure. That was like
somebody will enjoy that card, but that person was just like
someone will enjoy it way cheaper than they should.
I should have put the emphasis on prize. It was somebody's prize, their treasure that they hit out of this thing or whatever. And so, but it's a big cash, big payday for somebody that's doing this. If they would have done it right, hopefully they obviously take care of it. They have to take care of it. There's no way, like the fact that it was got a PSA 8 and they forgot to put the 1/1 on it. Like that is just. Like I would be so angry. I don't get angry about a lot of stuff in the hobby, but I would be very angry about that if I was the person that.
Would you get Applebee's survey level angry?
Ooh. Yes, easily. Ooh. That's where I would go.
Watch out, people.
Right to the top, up here, all the way up here. Can't even see my hand right now.
0 to 1 million.
1 million.
Oh, well, we talked a while ago about Fanatics and them needing to make money, and they're gonna take advantage of the hobby. Did you see though? They may have found the solution. They are now selling Fanatics branded supplies on Topps.com. Now, in fairness, I also got a random email from a top load and supply manufacturer in China asking me if I wanted to do branded supplies through them and how many I would be interested in. So I'm guessing Michael Rubin must have gotten the same email, and he was like, yeah, let's do it. And yeah, the pricing on it, the prices are pretty much in line with like Ultra Pro. I find it interesting. It'll be interesting to see like how available these are. Like right now, I think they're only available on the Topps website, but is this something they're going to sell to dealers? Are they
breakers, Mike? It's
breakers.
Going to breakers.
Make the breakers all buy that if they want to break them. There you go.
Also, if you buy a case with us, we'll send you a free case of top loaders.
Oh no, we'll sell you a case for $75 or $100, like a little cheaper than what we're selling them.
They will be every card that gets sleeved and top loaded through a Fanatics live break or breaker associated that wants product is going to be using Fanatics top loaders. There's no doubt.
If you're
and it's not going to stop at top loaders, by the way. They will have one touches. They'll have
they do.
Slab
they have all
they have,
that.
they have all that.
This is not just top loaders. They currently have soft sleeves, top loaders, and one touches all available. I do want to say, if you're buying these, you're a total Fanatics fanboy, because like, why else would you
how many cases did you get?
I don't want to talk about it.
Wow.
I was really hoping the amount of money that I made at the card show this week would pay for all of them, but that didn't work. That didn't work out.
Oh no.
I'm surprised EP wasn't set up with like cases of that stuff behind him with his, Fanatics affiliation there.
Yeah.
I said to you guys in I think I'm pretty sure I responded in text, like, how has PSA not already done those like semi-rigids? Like, how do they not already have their own branded semi-rigids to send to people when they want to submit cards? Like, this is something they missed out on a long time ago. Should have been doing it in 2020 or 2020.
They have slab, especially considering they do slab mags. Like they have, or slab bags, I'm sorry, which again, scratch your slabs, don't use them, but they they send them to you in those scratchy, scuffy sleeves. So, but yeah, I'm surprised they don't do that either. Maybe they will now at this point, right? Why wouldn't
you? Should, right.
I just don't understand, like, what part of the market are you taking away? Because are you really that, like, you really think that just because you're putting the Fanatics label on this, that people are going to pay the same amount that they will for Ultra Pro? Like, Ultra Pro soft sleeves are by far the nicest you can buy. I've tried a lot of others. I do like some of the cheaper top loads out there. I don't think you have to buy Ultra Pro top loads, but you're coming in at the same price level as Ultra Pro. You're not cheaper. Why am I buying your stuff over Ultra Pro?
But I mean, this is an example of like exactly what they've done through as they made their way through the like becoming this like juggernaut through the industry, right? Like maybe next week they announce we're buying all
control everything,
right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, we haven't talked. I think we actually skipped a week on Topps Now cards last week. So we need to make up for it this week.
You know who did skip a week on Topps Now cards?
Topps did not. But talk about making money. They released a Mike Tyson and Jake Paul dual card of the slap from the weigh-in. Perfectly caught with the slap hitting face, almost like it was staged and they knew it was going to happen.
Almost.
Who knew? But the interesting thing about this, I mean, we talked about they signed the deal with Jake Paul, so this is not surprising. I think everybody expected there would be cards, and there'll probably be more from the fight. But they have a 1-of-1 signed by Jake Paul and a 1-of-1 signed by Mike Tyson, but they don't have a 1-of-1 signed by both. I'm sure they have a reason for this, but I don't know what it is. I haven't quite figured it out. I'm hoping you guys can clue me in. Okay. Twice
you know what?
Episode.
I don't even need it for this because this is not a conspiracy. So the card that you're buying from Topps Now is the slap, right? Did I freeze? Am I good? You're muted, Mike. Am I good? Did I freeze?
I think I froze up.
Oh, okay.
Like you guys were both frozen for me for a little bit too, so I'm not sure.
All right. I think we're all back.
Too, so
I think we're all back.
So let's just take it from right there.
Yeah. So they have the slap. Like the slap is the card that they're selling now. Well, what's next then? They're gonna have a fight card.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So that's when the dual auto is going to be. There's no way on God's green earth that they did not do a dual auto of these two guys.
You're right.
And I guarantee you they're going to have either a fight card that Topps Now or just a set.
A whole set. $8,000 a box.
Yeah. Would you be shocked by any of that?
No.
Well, they did it for the Dodgers World Series. They were like $50 or $60 for the set, and you could get autographs out of it. And they had like 6 Ohtani autographs that you could get out of all the sets. But yeah,
it's gonna be like a 20 card set or something like that. It's not, they don't a 1 or 2 picks per round. and then roll with the parallels, and then roll out the dual auto.
The 101 dual auto, and that also, yeah, you're absolutely right. I would be shocked if it doesn't happen. Go ahead, AJ.
I was just saying they did that for the Otani 50-50. Like they seem to be doing this for a lot of stuff. And this is like in the boxing world, I realized that Mike Tyson might look like he was 60 years old as a boxer in the ring, but this was one of the most talked about things. Like people were talking about it at the card show. People were talking about it like I've been like my brother-in-law's been talking to me about it a couple times throughout the last few weeks. Like it's a big deal. It was a big deal. I won't be surprised at all if they come out with the full set. You're right. I like to think what might have happened is that Mike Tyson got the autograph card second, and he was so upset about the slap that he tore the card in half, and that's why we didn't get the card. Awesome. Although then I would like to think that Fanatics then would have put that ripped card together.
No, they wouldn't have, EP. They would have sold that ripped card as 2 cards.
True.
Just saying. Come on.
True. And if you want to hear about destroying a card, make sure you watch the show on Wednesday. You're going to get a little story. You guys don't know anything about that, but yeah. But yeah, there were 60 million people across the world that Netflix said were watching that.
It's crazy.
On Friday
or
night.
watching the buffering. I mean,
or the buffering, yeah.
Or his ass for some reason. Did you guys catch this?
I did see that. That was great. That needs to be a Tops Now card.
Yeah, that's a Tops Now. Genius.
Get assless chaps on. Come on, again. I'm sorry. I'm a wrestling fan. Like people were like shocked by that. That was planned. They knew he was that way. They knew like the camera made sure it caught him walking away. That was 100. Everything about this was 100% planned. The stepping on the foot, the slap, the assless chaps, the whole fight. I'm sorry. You watch that. You see like Mike Tyson, the one he hit him with a punch the one time, and it looked like he hit him a little too hard. And Jake Paul was like sticking his tongue out afterwards. And I saw people saying, yeah, that was probably the signal that they agreed on that, like, back it off, Mike. That one hurt a little bit. Like, but he seemed to have opportunities when he punched to punch again, and he didn't do it. And it was totally fake. You're not going to convince me.
It absolutely was.
Nice payday for both of them, right? Good job.
Fantastic payday.
Huge payday for both of them. Yep.
Good. That's the thing.
I'd see it like Paul and 20 million for Tyson, I think, or something like that. Like,
I mean, professional wrestling for a long time was built on making people believe that it was real when it wasn't. So I don't have a problem with this being that way, but just people need to realize, like, watch it a little more closely. It just, So, okay, we don't have a whole lot of time left today, but let's go to this one. I told you guys a little bit about this before we started. There's a breaker that I saw. Apparently, I think it was a case of Obsidian Soccer. Now they're doing a break. Nothing unusual about that, right? Everybody buys in the breaks. Big thing in the hobby. This was a little twist on it, though. They were apparently opening the entire case of Obsidian Soccer, and then they were repacking the case that they broke and selling the break on the repack of the case they broke, instead of selling breaks on the actual case, where you might not pull cards out of it and slip a card out here and there that you won't put into the repack. Do I need a conspiracy hat?
No,
like, nobody would ever do that, though.
I'm here for a good conspiracy.
They're just doing it to make it cheaper for everybody, give more people a chance to get into the break and get that big hit that they probably kept from the case that they broke that they could have just broke.
That part's the conspiracy. Like, to think they actually did it on the up and up, that's the conspiracy. Because doing it the shady way, that's the truth. That's really what happened. Yeah, I mean, come on, man. Like, I just, because no one knows. I guess here's my question, that maybe it is more on the up and up. Are they breaking? So they're breaking the product on their channel, right? The packs, like the actual boxes of his Obsidian.
I would assume so. Yes.
There's a video on their channel.
I would hope.
Right.
I don't know for sure.
Again,
but I would tend to think you kind of have to. So people.
You would hope so. Right. And then they're going to break the repack on the channel, or are they just sending the repacks?
No, the way I understand it from the post, they would break the case, take all the cards that were in the case, and make up repacks with the cards, and then break the repacks on the channel. So there should be video of the case being broken. Let's hope. I don't know 100% sure either way, but I would assume you have to do that. They should be doing that. So I'm going to assume that that would be really sketchy if they were. Yeah. But then they're taking all those cards, making their own repacks, and then they will be breaking the repacks for $59. Like, so one price for all of it. Yeah. They could sell more than they could in the spot. So I'm not saying I agree with it, but I'm guessing their thinking is this way we can get 40 people to break instead of 20. I don't know the numbers for soccer.
Yeah.
Breaks,
so it's
and we can make it cheaper and everybody has a chance to get what we got out of the case.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think it's so much as skeezy as I originally thought, because if they're breaking the repacks on the channel, so you'll be able to see, again, you'll be able to see what they pulled, and you'll be able to check off what got pulled out of the repacks, right? So it's more of a skeezy cash grab than a skeezy hobby thing. Does that make sense? Like
wrapped up in look what we're doing for you, because you can get it cheaper. So you'll be okay with it because you're only paying $59 instead of having to pay $200 to get a chance at the best card.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you guys makes 100 sense. Makes 100% sense. I feel like
vodka's getting to them, boys. The vodka's
that's too much vodka. There's half a bottle of vodka.
Way too much.
No, but the like we consider repacks, like there's some of us in the hobby think repacks is kind of a scam, breaking is kind of a scam, and scammers are going to scam in the hobby. In this case, soccer. I think it's per player. We have to buy a player break, and in some cases, this might be a better way to do a break of something like a soccer product or whatever. So yeah, but I 100% believe that this industry is also industrious as far as wanting to make money, and so there's definitely a reason. They're definitely going to make more money off of it doing it this way. Even like you said, Mike, they're going to package it in this thing. Well, we're doing this for you, but it's actually a way for them to make more money. And
can I point one thing out though?
Yeah,
they're repacking it. So how do we know that the pack that they're ripping for whichever person randomly gets that pack
it'll be on the
set up?
It's the hobby. They're all.
I mean, there's really no way that they could like work this and have their best
actually
get the best card. No way.
Now it's going back to that. Okay, it's skeezy, slimy hobby stuff instead of just a cash grab, because that's a good point. It's my alcohol fog. I didn't even think about that one. But yeah, I mean, sure, it's easier to randomize repacks than it would be randomizing, because I don't know who the best player is, but it's possible you wouldn't even get one of their cards out of this product.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter if you cheat the randomizer to give that spot, the best player spot, to someone, because they might not pull anything anyway. Here, you can just figure out what the best card is and randomize that repack to someone. Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God, I hate the hobby.
Okay, I got a couple quick hitters here. I'll give you each one-time turn. Keep it a little short.
Okay.
Panini. We've been worried about what's going to happen to Panini when they lose their licenses, right? Again, I think they're going to be fine. They're making Minecraft cards. Now, I joke a little bit about this, but if I remember and I'm able to, I'll buy a box of this, because I used to love playing Minecraft with my boys. We'd play like the multiplayer. They'd get so mad at me because I used to like to just dig underground and make myself a tunnel in a place, and they wouldn't know where I was. But I digress. But yeah, I mean, these are going to be I feel like this is one of those products that like maybe the average person won't think much of, but this will probably be a really big hit, right?
It's not just that. Like, this is the perfect thing for Panini to start to get into, right?
Mm-hmm.
I made the comment they should get into DC cards. Well, Upper Deck beat them to it. But stuff like this, nostalgia stuff, video game stuff, use the IP you have, which is really cool IP, and make really cool cards of off the beaten path kind of stuff that are going to be big sellers.
I'm a huge fan of games, and Minecraft is near the top of my list. Like I just the creativity and the things you can do in it, and this like
you can hide in
world.
tunnels and underground bunkers.
Yes.
Yeah,
you can also build giant mountain castles and giant mountain like hideouts and stuff like that. It's an amazingly creative product. I was interested to see what the cards look like. I'm not going to say I'm going to buy a box of this, but it's definitely something that interests me. I think it's one of the greatest stories in games too, with one person making this game that is just gone from it's still super popular now. It released in like 2012, and it's still going now. It's crazy.
Could they make Madden cards? Could they make NBA Jam or whatever cards?
Those
Maybe.
companies. But those companies have to have the property like a rights property. Like they couldn't use.
I'm just saying that.
But here's the thing:
they make Monopoly
in Uno. The Uno cards that came out are not
true.
Panini licensed, so possibly.
I'm just saying
you broke the rule. You know,
I know.
I'll
allow it. Yeah.
And one last thing, I kind of forgot this, but Topps is just about ready to take over the WWE license. You know, I'm a big wrestling card fan. Saw a picture online. I'm not posting it here because I don't know where the picture came from and I didn't know who to credit it to. But look for Tommaso Ciampa 2025 Topps autograph picture. You'll find it somewhere online. But Tommaso Ciampa, the one wrestler, his cards were there. He was signing. He had the Superfractor, a bunch of the parallels of the new Topps Chrome. One thing I determined about these cards, though, when I looked at them instantly, they look an awful lot like Panini Prism. I thought at first there was another Prism set coming out before I saw it was Topps Chrome. It looks like a, mid-teens Panini Prism set. The looks like they have all kinds of ridiculous parallels. I was talking earlier how they have multiple parallels of different colors. There were clearly a couple different parallels of the same color, like with a different background. I don't know. I feel I was really disappointed seeing it because I liked Topps Chrome a lot. I liked the last set they did. And now looking at this, I think 2021 was the last set. And looking at this is like, instead of just going back and being Topps Chrome, I know Topps Chrome baseball and stuff has changed in that time, but I feel like I'm just looking at Prism now and it's not Topps Chrome to me. And it was really disappointing.
When you saw and you thought it was Prism, did you get a little PTSD, Mike? A little bit? Were you like, oh man, those boxes?
It doesn't even, it's blanked out of my mind.
Water off a duck's back. Yeah. And my big question is, for the Super Refractor, did he give a better auto than the other?
I think he did inscribe it. I think he inscribed it. I don't think he
I'll allow that.
TC on his other ones and then Tommaso Ciampa fully on it. So yeah,
that'd be fantastic if he did. To your point, Mike, I mean, we always talk about companies that just can't come up with new ideas. This is like the height of that. If they are really just like, I mean, I made the comment, you guys disagreed, especially EP, about them stealing Upper Deck's IP with the Billy Ripken stuff. Now, hey, it's a little bit different than Prism, and we're calling it Topps Chrome, so it's not really stealing IP or stealing someone else's idea. There's just no competition, and when there's even less, this is what you're going to get.
I'm just out here yucking all the yums today. Like when I see Prism, Prism can't hold a candle to Topps Chrome in design. I even prefer Finest to Prism. Prism does not move the needle for me at all. Like there's something about it that just is not. It does not pull me in like a Finest or a Topps Chrome, and that's very frustrating to think that they're leaning on this now with this one of the first sets they're going to have. I think the Topps Chrome basketball seem more like a Topps Chrome type product, and I really hope that they're not going to lean into since Panini won't have the Prism. Let's give the people what they want, because there are a lot of people out. Hopefully, there are a lot of people out there like me who don't really want that. We want Topps Chrome. We don't want you to copy this thing that we've had for this long. We want Topps Chrome to be back. My immediate thought was I would love to see a really cool like Hacksaw Jim Duggan or Randy Macho Man Savage Topps Chrome card from like an older design. So I hope they bring in some sort of like composite or archives type product. But I'm concerned that they're just going to copy the stuff that we've had from designs from like Prism and stuff like that we've had. That would be upsetting to me.
they're copying the design that the other company copied off of them to begin with, instead of just going right to the source. So yeah. But the good thing is, EP, none of the wrestlers are in their college uniforms. So,
Oh, great. Okay,
well,
I'm in. I'm in. Yeah.
Thank God. Yeah.
Are they have their logos or their license? They have their
They do.
logos on it?
Yes.
Or- Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
they do.
Good.
Every one of them, big WWE boom right there on their chest. Men and women both. So, all right, guys, we'll wrap things up there. We talked about a lot today. This was a good show this time. We don't have many of those, but this one was a good one.
Despite all the vodka, it was a pretty good show.
Maybe that's why. And don't forget to hit the like button just in case they change their mind. But other than
I
that,
don't see that happen.
just in case. All right, guys, that was a good show this week, and I will see you next week. Take care, guys.
Imagine I eat your butt.
Adios.